Hey everyone, it's Brian Porter. I just want to say thank you for your support here on YouTube. Thank you for being a part of our channel. This is a little bit of a deeper dive into a topic that we get asked a lot, which is how do you get into the gear business? Now I'm going to go into this more in depth in our podcast episode, which I'll include a link to the podcast episode down below. But I'm going to hit you with a couple highlights of that. We get asked this question a lot. Sometimes it's kind of humbling because I don't really feel like we have the ultimate answers or that we have everything figured out. We certainly don't. But what we've been able to do from the early days of trying to start this business in a spare bedroom to having the shop now and employees and kind of growing this business, I wanted to kind of share the journey a lot. And if you've listened to any of our content, we have shared little snippets of the journey. We've done a lot of kind of walkthroughs and reflections and things like that. But I want to be able to say, if you're looking to start a gear business, here is a couple tips that you might want to consider. So I'm going to walk through some of these. I'm going to, again, do this very quickly. We'll dive into more of these topics. If you like this type of topic, let me know in the comments below if you'd like to hear more about a specific part of running a gears business, if you'd like to hear more about decision making, things like that. This is kind of the business nerd side of Porter. So if you want to hear demos, if you want to see cool guitars, this is not the video for that. This is basically just a walkthrough of some of the stuff that we do here at Porter, some of the ways that we make decisions. But then again, that advice for people who are looking at starting a gear business. So let's walk through a couple of the things that you might consider if you're going to start a gear business. All right, first thing you want to do is make sure that if you have an idea, take a look and see if the ideas are already been done. I mean, and a lot of times you're taking something and you're making a tweak. So in our case, pickups, we're coming up with our own recipes for pickups. We have some inspired, some clone type pickups, but we also have some new and innovative type pickups. See if you can find something that is unique to what you want to do in the industry. Make sure that when you're starting something, you're putting your product out there to trusted friends, to also honest friends, beyond trusted friends, honest friends that are going to tell you how it is. They're going to say, you know what, I don't think this sounds good, or this isn't quite right. Maybe you can improve these areas. So think about that. First thing to do is find those trusted friends. Find a group of honest friends. Find some people that you can get real feedback on. I know the early days of Porter, I had a core group of people that I would send stuff out to, and some people would say, oh, this is really good. Some people would say, well, it's okay, but it's not as, it's the same sounding as this, and this. And so how are you going to make it better? And then I could take that feedback and go and try to make it better. So one of the most important things you can do is figure out what your why is, or why you do what you do, or what problem that you solve with your product. So if you're trying to find a new solution for guitar players, what is that? And how is it going to make their life better? I know that sounds very grand, but that's really what you're trying to do, is you're trying to create something that improves your customers' quality of life or their excitement about guitar, or in our case, we make these sets of pickups and they fill a purpose and they fill a need for the customer, and we're ultimately trying to create people that are more inspired by playing their guitar. They play their guitar longer because of our products, and this is kind of why we do what we do. So formulate that why almost before you even get your product out there. As you've tested it with friends, tell your friends, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is why you could get excited about that. And then what that does is that starts to help you with your marketing, is that you say, this is the solution that we provide for customers. This is why we do what we do, and this is why you might consider buying our product. So keep that in mind. Again, the why and the solution that you offer is very important as well. So as you go, make sure that, and this is just, again, my personal take on this, but make sure you're working, again, on a long-term plan. So a little less kind of hype wave type products, but more long-term practical solutions. So like sometimes it's going to be a longer game that you're playing to start a business, and that's okay. It's going to have to be something like that to stay in business for a long time. The last thing you want to do is create a product, ride a wave, and then it's gone and your business is closed. And we've seen that in the industry a lot, where stuff will pop up and then all of a sudden the company's gone because they haven't taken the time to build infrastructure to support the products, stock the products, or whatever situation it might be in. So keep that in mind as you're going. Another thing to consider is making sure that you're balancing your risk. So you can write your risk down in terms of maybe it's a spouse, significant other, your kids. The different amount of things that you're risking as you're starting an idea are very important to consider. When we started, we had one child, and then we had subsequent other children as the business grew, and each time it's more and more complicated. There's more medical bills, more mouths to feed, more bigger size place to live, all those things that come up. Keep that in mind. And so with that, finding something that supplements, hopefully it's your current job, it's a stable job, it's something that maybe is flexible to allow you to pursue your ideas, but something that brings in money so you can try the stuff that probably won't bring in money at the start. So making sure that you're working on your side hustle while you have a main hustle, you have your main income. That's going to be one of the biggest skills you can learn, is balancing that risk. You're going to have to take risks. You're going to have to go forward. You're going to have to jump out into the unknown, but keeping in mind what you have to lose is a good way to kind of keep you a little bit more grounded. And be patient with that process, because inevitably you're going to say, well, I want to create this so I have the extra money. And that was our case early on with Porter, as we said, if I could pay my rent, if I could pay my grocery bill, that would be great. And keep that in mind as you go. Set these little benchmarks. You're not gonna start an idea and it's gonna be a full-time gig in a very short amount of time. You may have the best idea ever and it may just take off, but in our experience, things take time. They take time to build, and sometimes the lessons that you learn along the way by just knocking down what's in front of you is very important. One of the last things I want to mention is don't forget to have fun. Don't forget to enjoy what you're creating, enjoy that process of creating, and don't lose the joy of that process. Even though once you start moving from creating something to trying to sell it, sometimes that can suck the life out of it from time to time. I mean, I've experienced that over the years of, okay, I'm gonna try this idea, and then the idea doesn't work, and so you feel like failure, or you feel like it's not happening the way you want or at the time frame you want. You get frustrated, but really the principle is have fun, but then focus on a smaller chunk of what's in front of you. I think that's the biggest danger that a lot of times we have as people in the gear industry or people starting a business. Doesn't matter what business you're starting, you're always thinking really far down and kind of, this is my dream scenario, and I'm here, and I don't have any idea how I'm going to get there. But you won't get there unless you keep knocking down the stuff that's in front of you. So each week, focus on a couple improvements that you can make. Each week, focus on moving the business forward, whether that's just finishing the idea. A lot of times, that's the best thing you can do, is finish an idea. A lot of times people won't actually finish an idea. They'll be like, if I have this, it'll be great. And then they never actually finish the idea that would be available for sale, and then it never becomes anything because they didn't take the time to finish it. So you kind of have to have what I say is a balance of tenacity and stupidity all wrapped in one, is where you have to be able to take your idea, finish it, and then keep going and keep trying to figure out how to sell it, where to put it. Early on in the Porter days, I made the mistake of thinking, okay, I've got these pickups, and it was super early, and I just took a trip around the northwest of the US and showed the pickups to, I think, like 15 stores in a couple day period. I thought going to these shops was going to be the ticket, because everyone would love my products, and I would walk in there and they'd be so amazed. They would buy hundreds and thousands of pickups, and it did not happen. We got one dealer who bought maybe 5 pickups out of that whole trip. So other than being very defeated, I learned a lot of lessons in terms of, you're gonna try stuff, and at that time it was pretty expensive to travel around, not a lot of money, extra money, so it ended up being very, very difficult, very, very hard lesson learned experience. And sometimes you have to try those things, but then again, like I said before, balancing your risks, making sure that you're able to absorb anything that you try. And a lot of times you're not, and so you have to say, well, I'll risk this much. I'm not gonna borrow $50,000 to start my idea. And sometimes your ideas might cost that much to start. So you have to figure out how to get there. Maybe it's over the course of a year, which is so hard for us in this instant gratification generation where we want something now. You know, we can order something that shows up later that day or tomorrow, you know, on Amazon, and we want that for our business. We want it to just exist tomorrow. And a lot of times it just doesn't work that way. So my encouragement is to stay consistent, to knock down what's in front of you. And then don't forget the why, like we talked about earlier. Don't forget why you do what you do and the problem that you solve, and just get started. You don't want to live with regrets and not starting and trying an idea. Many times over the course of our business, there's a lot of ideas. I'm like, oh, I wish I would try that. And so sometimes just being able to accomplish creating the idea, there's a lot to learn in that, even if maybe that idea doesn't pan out in the way you think it would. Sometimes things change, people change, situations change, but you have to keep going as someone who is in charge of the business. So find good people around you. Make sure you have a really good support group. Make sure you have good, trustworthy, but honest friends. Maybe you've got someone that's, you know, borderline annoying, but they're very, very honest. That's actually one of the best things you can do is tell them, like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? So find people, again, that are business mentors. Find people who have walked the journey a lot longer than you, and say, how do you do what you do? Or how do you make these decisions? Grab coffee with local business owners and say, here's what I'm trying to do. You know, can you give me insight and guidance? And I like to really learn a lot from other people. I like to be able to take information from them and learn it. So hopefully that's an encouragement to you guys. I really do appreciate you being a part of this YouTube channel as well. I want to give back more to this side of the business and talk about all sorts of business related things, from decision making, from just running a team, all those type of things. So if you have anything you'd like me to cover, please put that in the comments below. Again, a lot of blabbing here from me, but I'll put that link to the podcast as well as we kind of dive deeper into that. But I do appreciate your support. Hopefully this was insightful for you. I know a lot of people have asked me this question, so kind of trying to formulate it into a video to just share with you guys what we've learned and what we do here at Porter. That's basically always keeping that mission and that goal in mind, in the forefronts of our mind as we really try to move forward. Not losing sight of that, and not letting, you know, whatever level of success that you have, not letting that get to your head, because the world keeps throwing things at you. As we've seen in the last couple of years, things change, sometimes crazy things like the virus situation, your industry shutting down. I mean, there's no type of business plan that can prepare you for stuff like that. But keeping your mission and keeping your goals in mind and always at the forefront, no matter what, is probably the best advice I could give. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate your support. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All those who have been checking out our videos, leaving comments, we do appreciate that. Looking forward to continuing more content here at Porter Pickups. Thanks so much.